First, Peter chapter 2, verse 16 offers a profound and concise declaration of the Christian's identity and its implications for ethical behavior, stating, "As free, yet not using liberty as a cloak for vice, but as bondservants of God." This passage, rich with theological and practical significance, speaks directly to the heart of how believers are to understand and exercise their freedom in Christ. The verse begins by affirming the believer's status as free. This freedom is a central theme in the New Testament, emphasizing liberation from the constraints and penalties of sin through Jesus Christ. It also encompasses freedom from the strictures of the ceremonial law that defined much of Old Testament religious life, as well as liberation from the dominion of sin. However, Peter quickly qualifies this freedom to prevent misunderstanding and misuse. The caution, "yet not using liberty as a cloak for vice," addresses a critical issue that could arise within the Christian community, misinterpreting freedom as a license to engage in immoral behavior. The word cloak implies concealment or covering. Thus, Peter warns against the danger of concealing selfish and sinful behaviors under the guise of Christian liberty. This misuse of freedom undermines the very purpose of the gospel, which not only aims to free us from the penalty of sin, but also from its power and presence in our daily lives. Peter's admonition aligns with his broader pastoral concern for how Christians live among Gentiles or non-believers, as seen in the surrounding context of his letter. He is aware that the ethical behavior of Christians plays a crucial role in their witness to the outside world. Thus, he insists that freedom should not be an excuse for poor conduct, but rather should empower devout and holy living. This perspective is not unique to Peter. Paul also deals with this theme, particularly in his letters to the Corinthian church, where he addresses how to use freedom responsibly within the community of believers and in society at large. The final part of the verse, "but as bondservants of God," shifts the focus from a negative warning to a positive assertion of the Christian's true identity. The term bondservant refers to one who is willingly devoted to serving a master out of love, rather than as a result of coercion. In the Roman world, a bondservant was legally the property of their master, yet here it illustrates the depth of commitment and surrender that should characterize the believer's relationship with God. This metaphor powerfully illustrates that true freedom is found not in self-serving autonomy, but in willing service to God and adherence to His commands. The application of this verse is multifaceted and deeply relevant to contemporary Christian life. First, it calls for a thoughtful examination of how we interpret and live out our freedom in Christ. Believers must constantly assess whether their actions, justified as expressions of freedom, are actually aligned with God's moral standards and His kingdom's values. This includes scrutinizing our behaviors, motivations, and even our words, ensuring that we do not misuse our freedom to indulge in sin or to offend or stumble others within our community and beyond. Moreover, embracing our identity as bondservants of God implies a lifelong commitment to God's service, which should be evident in every aspect of our lives. This means prioritizing God's will over personal desires, seeking His glory instead of our comfort or gain, and being ready to make sacrifices for the sake of His kingdom. It challenges believers to live not as independent agents who happen to believe in God, but as devoted servants whose every action reflects their allegiance and devotion to their Lord. Furthermore, this understanding of freedom and servitude has practical implications for how we engage with the broader society. It means advocating for truth, justice, and righteousness in our communities, workplaces, and nations. It calls for active involvement in societal issues, not as partisan combatants, but as ambassadors of reconciliation, modeling the grace and truth of Christ. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16 encapsulates a vital biblical principle about the Christian life. True freedom comes with responsibility and is best expressed through service to God. This passage challenges believers to reflect on the nature of their freedom and to live in such a way that their lives commend the gospel of Christ to a watching world. It is a call to embody the gospel in every aspect of life, ensuring that our liberty is never an excuse for vice, but a platform for manifesting the goodness and love of God to all.